Office of Research Grants. And just a little bit about my background. I'm a biochemist by training. I joined ACS about 7 years ago. I was at the National Science Foundation as a program director before and worked at Columbia University and other more biomedical-oriented research institutions here in the US and also in Germany. Since it's not only, now I have to see, can you see my screen? I don't see that it's on. Okay, perfect. Thumbs up. We would like to learn also who's joining today on the call. Please feel free to type into your chat your institution and possibly the city from which you're joining today. We want to see the incredible diversity today on the call. And as we wait for the chat entries, let's do a quick round of introductions here with our ACS Office of Research Grants team. And let's start with our first PRF program officer, Bill Allmiller. Bill.
Yeah, hi, welcome everyone. My name is William Allmiller. I'm the program officer for panels 4 and 6. So that's physical organic chemistry and physical chemistry, chemical physics. I recently joined the Office of ORG. Previously, I was a managing editor for the JPC journals with ACS Pubs. So welcome everyone.
Thank you so much, Bill. Now we move to Tom.
Hi, I'm Thomas Clancy. I'm the program manager for panels 7 and 9, polymer science and chemical and petroleum engineering.
Excellent. Dean?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dean Dunn. I'm the program manager for panel 2, geochemistry and biogeochemical cycling, and panel 8, geology and geophysics. I've been here 20 years next month. I'm an emeritus professor of geology. I taught at the University of Southern Mississippi before coming to ACS.
Wonderful. Thank you. Laura?
Hi, I'm Laura Fernandez, program officer for panels 5 and 10. That's surface science and materials science. Prior to coming to PRF, I was like Bill Allmiller. I was also in ACS Publications as an associate publisher for the materials portfolio.
Super. And Allegra.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allegra Lieberman-Martin. I'm the program officer for panels 1 and 3. Those are synthetic organic chemistry and inorganic chemistry. I joined ACS in March, and before that, I was a faculty member at Chapman University in Southern California.
Wonderful. That concludes our group of program officers today on the call. But PRF is such a large program. We need phenomenal staff that helps us with financing, with the grants management system, and with running the entire program. So let me pass it on the microphone to Timima.
Hi, my name is Tamima Katz, and I am the Grants and Finance Manager. I oversee the administrative and the financial side of all of the grants.
Thank you. And Helena.
I am Helena Capita. I am the office admin for the Office of Research Grants.
Excellent. And Dave?
Good afternoon. David Riper. I'm the Proposal and Grants Administration Manager.
Wonderful. And I don't have to introduce myself again, but let me just comment on the wonderful entries in the chat. So welcome everyone from the University of Hawaii to George Washington University on the East Coast. We are well represented. That's just wonderful to see who all joined today. So as we thought about the Open House 2024, we felt we should spend probably about 20 minutes to give you a little overview of ACS PRF and also sharing some items that you might not have heard from colleagues. And also, you remember you entered some questions as you registered for this webinar, and it was interesting that many of the questions clustered around certain topics. So I will address the 6 main topic areas before we actually start topical Q&As in PRF science or specialist related breakout rooms. So you will have really one-on-one time or 1 to 10 time in breakout rooms later on. And we hope that the majority of your questions can be answered today. So let me start with just sharing with you that ACS PRF, the Petroleum Research Fund program, does not have any affiliation with petroleum industry. A lot of community members think that, but that is not true at all. You see that we are celebrating actually this year the 80th anniversary of the signatures under the ACS PRF Trust Agreement, which was established in 1944. Since 1960, the assets are general stocks and investments, and ACS has the privilege to really use those the income from the investments to support every year with about $90 to $20 million fundamental hydrocarbon research as it's related to the petroleum field. The main document that was signed in 1944 specifically points out following. The recipient, ACS, shall use all funds exclusively for advanced scientific education and fundamental research in the petroleum field, which may include any field of pure science, which in judgment of ACS may afford a basis for subsequent research directly connected with the petroleum field. That is our charge, ACS's charge. And then as we focus on that charge and the main document, we work with the community to really drive fundamental research in the hydrocarbon field forward. ACS PRF provides seed money grants. The proposed work in any of the 4 grant programs, which I will outline later on, must be significantly different than previous work that you have done as an applicant, right? An example, if you shouldn't continue with the work you have done as a postdoc when you become a young investigator, right? It has to be different. We will look at what you have at your publication record and make an assessment early on in the review process if you truly really check off this requirement. We're also proud to say that preliminary data are not necessary, and if you have preliminary data, we will not really penalize you, except if you have used the preliminary data and already published or received a grant using that data. That is not what we would like to support, right? So, but in general, preliminary data are not necessary to apply, and a large number of PRF grants go to investigators that do not have preliminary data as they apply for PRF funding. PRF supports research in 10 different disciplines, ranging from synthetic organic chemistry, geochemistry, biogeochemical cycling, inorganic chemistry, to physical organic chemistry, surface sciences, polymer, petroleum engineering, and material sciences. You can read all the different fields, right? But what all the fields have in common under the PRF umbrella is there's a focus on petroleum. The research must be directly related to petroleum-derived material, and the relationship to the petroleum field should be obvious and not really a stretch of one's reasoning. The proposed research must be in one of the 10 outlined specific disciplines and not in other explicitly excluded research types. PIs must articulate, actually, as they apply, a description of how the proposal is fundamental research in the petroleum field. We support 4 different grant programs that we cluster into 2 groups. The first group focuses on PIs at doctoral degree granting institutions, and the second cluster focuses on PIs at primarily undergraduate institutions. In both of those clusters, we support new investigators, the D&I grants, and the UNI grants, and of course, researchers that are advanced in their faculty career. At the doctoral degree granting institutions, we support those faculty through new direction grants, and at undergraduate institutions through the undergraduate research grants. The amounts vary depending on the grant type. It ranges between $55,000 over 2 years to $125,000 over 2 years. I have to point out that if you are at an undergraduate institution and you receive a grant with the next cycle, then you are automatically eligible to apply for an additional $25,000 supplement, which aims to bolster the research capacity at your department. You, as a PI who received the grant, together with the department chair, you would submit a supplement application. It will be reviewed by an external group of reviewers, and then if everything goes well, you will get a $25,000 supplement. So that is a good amount of money to bolster any kind of research activities at your institution. The next proposal window opens very soon, August 12th, and it will close on September 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. At any time, you could submit your proposal. We, of course, encourage you to start submitting as soon as possible. Do not wait until the last day, which I did in my faculty career very often, but I shouldn't have done that. I understand it. So submit early, start compiling the components of your proposal and application as soon as possible. A shout out for engaging with PRF as a reviewer, because only if you serve as a reviewer, not only at ACS PRF, in general, serve on a panel at NSF or NIH or DOE or whatever it is, only if you are going through that process from the perspective of a reviewer, you truly understand what makes a research proposal really outstanding and fundable, and what type of quality would not lead to an actual research grant. Feel free to sign up to be a reviewer in the future or now. We do not guarantee that you'll be asked. It always depends on the specific research topic in a proposal when we reach out to individuals that indicated they will be interested in reviewing. Also, I should mention that ACS staff, specifically from the Office of Research Grant, we are really a good resource for you to really brainstorm about how to really shape your proposal in a way that it fits the scope of ACS PRF. So don't be shy, reach out to the individual program officers in the different research areas as you might have questions about rules, assess the fit of the proposed research, want to have some assistance with framing the proposed research within the funding scope, and etc. So reach out to us directly, to the program officer. If it's a general question, feel free to send an email to prfinfo@acs.org. A big thank you to everyone, for submitting your question during the open house registration, but also in general for really doing already phenomenal work at your departments that help actually students and postdocs to gain the skills to become the next generation of leaders in academia, industry, and elsewhere, to drive forward the progress of science and the progress of society overall. As I mentioned, as we look at all the submitted questions, there were certain topic clusters, and I will talk about 6 topic clusters. The major topic cluster, one of the major topic classes, was really the review process. Tell us about how you actually review proposals. And if you have checked out our website, this graph is on our website, but let me walk you through this graph. As you submit a proposal, our office, the team that you see here right now on the screen, plus our grant administrators, we will do a compliance check. And during that compliance check, we will look specifically at, is the proposal relevant to the petroleum field? Is it truly fundamental research? Do you really tap into a new research area, right? Is it the right fit for that particular panel? Is it aligned with all other eligibility criteria? If you check off all the marks, then we move on and send it out for external review. If you don't check all the marks, we will turn it back as an out-of-scope proposal. So, but let's assume 100% of you are actually in scope because you did your homework, you talked to the program officer, you checked all the boxes. We reach out to specific reviewers that are experts in the field that you proposed you worked in, right? You work in. And as we reach out to the reviewers, of course, we look at literature, but also we embrace the reviewer recommendations that you submit with your application. So as you submit your reviewer recommendations, we will notice if it's a collaborator or someone, right, you have worked with very closely. So really put on the head of a program officer as you make your own recommendation. So it should be not someone who is really closely related to your work, someone who's though an expert in the field. So we try to get at least 3 external reviews per proposal. And the reviewers will assess the merit of your proposal. Then our PRF committee will discuss all proposals with the corresponding external reviews and come up with a recommendation, right? Which 30%, approximately 25 to 30% of the proposals should receive funding through ACS PRF, and which should receive the review excerpts as a learning opportunity to as you consider resubmitting your proposal. That recommendation comes to my desk. I will review everything. I will share the recommendations with ACS Board of Directors. They make a funding decision, and I will communicate that through the Office of Research Grants back to the applicants, that decision. You can see at the very top, it takes up to 8 months between submitting your proposal and hearing back if you were funded or not. So it takes time. And we outlined on that screen why it takes this amount of time for ACS PRF. The second big question was, okay, what should our budget include? There's slight nuances between the 4 different grant types, DNI and D, UNI and UR grants, but overall, you have to budget for student support. 60% of your budget, if you work at a doctoral degree granting institution, should go to students or postdocs, and 40% of your budget should go to students if you're at an undergraduate institution. You could budget for your own stipend, of course. You could include travel. You could include publications cost and capital equipment. Important is that you cannot charge overhead. We do not support overhead secretarial or administrative salaries through ACS PRF. The third question was, how do you define fundamental research? And there I would like to read out loud how we defined it. Fundamental research is research that focuses on the basic causes and consequences of the phenomena and promises to produce results of broad interest and applicability, not only in the immediate field of the investigator, but in other fields of science and engineering as well. The next question is, how do you define petroleum field? We consider the petroleum field all fossil fuel hydrocarbons. The PRF Trust states that research funds must be used in research on exploration for and the production, transportation, and refining of petroleum products, and natural gas, and the production of and refining of substitutes for petroleum and petroleum products from natural gas, coal, shale, tar sands, and like materials. That's how we define the petroleum field. Another question, what is the new direction? Can you tell us a little bit more? So I touched on that topic a little bit earlier in that presentation. So we ask you to embark on a new research direction in petroleum-related fields, not to continue with a research topic that you have already done before. It has to be truly new. While the focus is on new ideas, this does not require researchers to abandon their research expertise at all, right? Or pursue paradigm-shifting discoveries. Instead, the PRF encourages proposals that introduce novel concepts, offering the necessary support to develop initial data and explore exciting new avenues in their field. That's how we view new directions. I told you 6 main topic clusters. The last one is, what tips do you have for us to write a successful grant proposal? There are just 3 things that we have to mention. Have a great idea. Talk to your colleagues, talk to mentors, if they feel, or other people that have experience with ACS PRF, if your idea is competitive for ACS PRF. And also, you might want to reach out to the ACS program officer. Make the proposal, craft your proposal in a way that you leverage effective presentations of your ideas, right? There are tricks with using bold letters or bold words underlined. Figures are a wonderful way how to convey a research idea quickly to an audience that might review your proposal late at night after the children are in bed, right? And of course, it's heartbreaking if someone does a lot of work, submits a proposal, and then we discover, well, it actually doesn't fit our scope. Do your homework before and make sure that whatever you propose fits the scope of the funding purpose, in this case, ACS PRF. I think I'm right on time with 20 minutes. So with that, you might have other questions which are more specific for any of the 10 different disciplines and possibly for the budget requirements for PRF and possibly regarding the application submission system. You see on this slide the 7 breakout rooms that will open in a minute, and actually, Helena, you could open them already. Important is, as you go to the breakout rooms, we will not have a closing session or closing remark after you come back. You should communicate additional questions after we finish the breakout sessions at 3 o'clock Eastern Time sharply by email, or join our upcoming open house again. So let me see. I think I see that the breakout sessions are all going on. So feel free to go into your field-specific or question-related breakout room. And I will stay here online, of course, and address any general questions you might have in the main room.